Hey guys, and in this video I'll be showing you how to make your own DIY solenoid valve for your CO2 system of your aquarium. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, do subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you guys will be updated when I upload the new cool videos like this. And share this video for all of your friends and it will help me a lot. So let's get started. Well guys, before moving on to the video, I just wanted to show you the tripod which I made. And now that I'm using this tripod for my videos, I leave the link for the tripod build down in the description box so that you guys can check out the video of the tripod build and share this video for all of your friends. It will be helpful for me a lot. Okay guys, so in order to make the solenoid, you will need an outer sleeve or an outer body of the pen, which I've already cut out for the required measurement, which I've already done. And you will need a foam board, and what you have to do is grab one of these bottle caps and place it on the foam board and just mark it just like this, which I've already done it, and get rid of that cap. And just you have to cut this circle part by using your cutter. Cut out a circle like this, and you have to have, and you need to cut out 2 of these circles for making the spool or the reel for the solenoid, and just press it down to just leave a scar of the pen's outer sleeve so that we can make the hole in the center of this circle correctly, of a correct size, to get this in. As you guys can see, it has left this scar, and the next step is to make a hole in the center of the circle. Let's do that now. So to make a hole, all you have to do is take your soldering iron and just punch it all the way down, just like this. So I've done the hole, and let's move on to this circle over here and repeat the same process as I did the last circle. And take your pen's outer sleeve and just push it inside that hole. So here we have the empty reel or the spool or whatever you want to call this as in your language, to be winded with some copper wires. Actually, most of the copper wires. So I'll show you how to wind the copper wires to the reel or the spool or whatever you want to call this thing as in your language. So before winding or rolling the copper wire into the spool or the roll, you need to make 2 of these small holes as I've done here, to insert the ends of the copper wires out. So let's begin winding. So for winding a copper wire, you guys might just go like this, right? You will take the end of the copper wire and just take it like this, and you will just bend it like this and just start to wind the copper wire with your hand, right? But swear me guys, this is gonna take forever. You will never end up. I'll show you a coolest way to wind the solenoid. So here is the coolest device. Let me show you in a close-up. So you might have seen this device before, right? It's a mini sewing machine and which has a bobbin winder at the end. We're gonna use this. Instead of winding thread to the bobbin, we're gonna wind our solenoid. So let's go and do that process now. So I have fixed the spool or the empty reel to the bobbin winder of the sewing machine. So let's start winding. You have to make sure that you wind your copper wire as close as possible, just I'm doing.
Two very boring minutes later.
And when you are done winding up the solenoid, you have to end up somewhat like this, and it should look somewhat like this. And you have might notice that I have already attached this or stuck this bottle cap to the solenoid, right? So let's carry on the build. And this is the body of the solenoid, and you will need to make the armature, which will move in a linear motion inside the hole, which is produced by the current, by the magnetic field which is produced when we apply the current to the terminals of the copper wire. So I removed this part here to show you guys how I made this, and as you guys can see, I'm gonna zoom it a little bit, and yeah, as you guys can see, I have closed the end of the valve which you get in an aquarium shop, which will be having a knob. When we turn it in a clockwise direction, it's gonna go in and shuts the valve completely, avoiding the airflow inside the valve. And when we rotate it and in an anti-clockwise direction, it's gonna happen vice versa. It allows the air to flow in it. So this wall is that wall in that bottle at the top right end of the cap, which is a orange color cap. As you can see here, this is the same wall. So these both are the same wall which I used. And as you can see, it's self-explanatory, right? This is the cap of a bottle, and this is the cap of an old oil, of an empty old oil container, which gonna fit like this. And I just trimmed off the lid of this cap, which gonna fit somewhere like this inside this cap, which we don't want this now. And what we have to do is just pop this right into that hole which I had made earlier in the cap, and I'm gonna seal the gap which is formed here with the hot glue gun. So I'll be right back after sealing the gap. Well guys, the cap and the bend which I made worked pretty well in the solenoid, but it was causing some leakage, so I had to drop this plan. We don't want not a single leakage in that CO2 system, right? So I had to drop this plan and move on to another plan. So I'm gonna show you the plan which I decided to make. So here's the plan guys, and if you want this plan, I'll leave the link down in the description box for this plan, so that you guys can download if you want, or else you can check out this plan. So I'll explain you what the plan is. So according to this plan, as you can see, there's only a single cap over here, which is a bottom cap. There's no inner cap such like that. We don't want that now. So we need a single bottle cap at the bottom, and the bend is also not here. It's an L-joint, right? What actually happened is, it went out pretty well, and at the ending the L-joint just cracked into half. I don't know how did that happen, so I couldn't repair this thing, so I had to drop this thing. So moved on to make a new L-joint, as you can see in the plan here. This is a large piece of pipe, somewhat like this. They call this pipe casually as a petrol pipe or a thick pipe. And what we have to do is take our L-joint, and this is a piece of an aquarium hose, and fix this hose into the L-joint and cut the extra bit of the hose and fix this to the larger pipe. As you guys can see, it's a pretty tight fit, right? It doesn't need any Fevikwik or super glue to hold it in place, and it will be airtight also. No need to worry about that. And what we have to do is cut till here. It's hardly around, I guess, 2 centimeters. You have to cut till here, and here's the finished L-joint. So this is what we needed. I just duplicated the valve as an L-joint. So what I did according to this plan is, this part is now done. So we need a valve of this kind. I'll show you. So here is the valve. So here is the valve. Camera couldn't focus it, sorry about that. Here's the valve. This valve is usually found in the carburetors of the vehicles. So you will find this valve in any hardware shop, automobile shop. This is the metal valve, which is completely made up of metal. The tip is also metal. But I recommend you guys to use the valve which has the rubber tip at the end. You can see the rubber tip here, right? This is the rubber tip. So what it does, you can see the hole, right? There's a tiny hole. What this is gonna do is, when we turn off the solenoid, the magnetic field produced by the electric current just shuts off completely and the valve just blocks the hole without letting any air out. And when we switch on the solenoid, it releases and lets the air out. It's pretty simple, right? And what we have to do is grab our L-joint and just screw it down in place. There's no need to stick anything here because it's gonna be pretty airtight fit. So now that I've fixed the valve to the pipe, I'm gonna show you a small demo how this valve works. I have this pipe in my hand. Now this pipe will be in my mouth. I'll be blowing into this pipe and you guys observe the sound. So you can't hear any sound, right? Now I let go of the valve and you will hear the sound of the air passing through that hole. So you saw that, right? Due to the pressure, the valve just came out. But that's not gonna happen in the valve because we are going to add a spring to retrieve the valve back into its position to block that small hole. So this is how this valve works. So enough of demo. Now let's move on to the valve. So what you have to do after this procedure, what I did was I soldered the armature or the pin, which is this, to the pin. I soldered this part to the pin and added one of these springs. As you can see, it's a medium spring. It's not too soft or not too hard. And I had to tell you guys, I had to make a lot of searching for the spring in that giant box of springs. As you can see, that's a whole lot of springs over there. And I had shown you guys this kind of springs, right? I was putting inside the chamber of the solenoid, but these springs work pretty well for the rubber tip of the syringe, but it was not quite good, so I had to get rid of these springs too. The best spring I could find is this spring. So this spring is inside this solenoid. As you can see, it's inside the solenoid. And what I did, I installed the spring and the cap. I'll show you guys. I had to even change the cap because as you can see, the cap is ruined up. So I fixed everything like this. As you can see, this part, and we have the valve here and the needle which will block the hole inside the valve. Even that's complete, and the armature or the pin which is gonna move inside the solenoid, and the top half of the cap. So here's the finished solenoid. Here's the mechanism which we made now, and here's which is completed. I have sealed the gap completely to prevent leakages from these gaps, and I have sealed, as I said you guys, I have to seal this gap, right? So I have sealed the gap also to prevent any leakages coming outside from those gaps. And how did I seal up the gaps and how did I solder the terminals of the copper wire to the plate? Let's move on to that video. So here's the solenoid and there's my CO2 system. Let me bring it a bit closer. And you might have noticed what is this, right? This is a clamp which I made for my solenoid, which will fit somewhat like this. And now let's test the solenoid out. So as you can see, it's a small switch that I'm using as a main switch. So in the future videos I'll be discussing, or I'll be making a separate video regarding the entire homemade system. So don't miss that video, guys. So subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you guys won't miss my video. So here's the small switch which I will be operating now. When I press the switch, it will be on, and when I let go of the switch, the solenoid turns off. And one more thing, I'm using a 12 volt eliminator or the battery, which is adjustable. As you can see, it's to the 12 volts, and here's the wire running out all the way to the switch. So let's go and connect it to the solenoid. So now that I've completed connecting the solenoid with the battery or the eliminator, so you should be able to hear the clicking sound of the solenoid, right? Hear it closely. I'll show you in the close-up so that you guys can hear it. Okay, so now that you have heard the noise of the solenoid, let's test it out. So here's the hose connecting to the bubble counter. All the way to the inlet of the solenoid valve, and here's the outlet which I'm gonna connect this pipe. So as you guys can see, this hose runs all the way into the pot, just to show you guys how it works when we install the entire system to the aquarium. So instead of the CO2 diffuser, I'm using the air stone, just to show you guys how the bubbles come out. And here it goes. So when I switch on the solenoid, as you can see here, now the CO2 is been diffusing, and when I let go of the switch, the whole CO2 system turns off. And when I switch on the switch again, the whole CO2 system turns on. As you can see, it's pretty accurate, right? And comment me below in the comment section if any questions regarding on this project. I'll answer you guys. And if you like this video, do give it a thumbs up and share this video for all of your friends. It means a lot for me, guys. So I have spent 1 week researching on this solenoid, and now that I'm succeeded, do give it a thumbs up if you like this video. So I'll see you in the next video, which will be the second part of the CO2 system. Until then, have a nice day. Bye.